What's going on today, guys? Massive Propaganda here, and today we'll be talking about Ableton finally destroying FL Studio. Or is it? Let's find out. Okay, so the other day I was on Twitter, like I usually am. I know I'm never being the, oh, this guy just reads stuff off Twitter allegations. Yeah, fuck you. I do a lot more than that. Also, fuck you. Okay, so I saw this tweet here about them remaking the FL step sequencer in Ableton. It's not called Fruity Loops, it's called Juicy Loops. Pretty terrible name, I know. This is an Ableton Max for Live device made by Uraki. I don't know if that's how you say it. Overall, not bad. Now, this had quite a few people saying, like, I'm switching over now from FL Studio. I'm no longer FL gang, I'm Ableton gang. I do think if this thing was made a little bit better, that would increase the probability of people doing that, but I do still think FL is better in certain things. I know, this is coming from a guy that uses Ableton, by the way. Yes, I know you could just use the piano roll and draw in notes that way. Not everyone prefers that approach, though, obviously. Personally, I would like a good step sequencer like this. That's just me, though. Feels less tedious. Some things I noticed about it. It's limited to 16 steps. Now, this may not be a problem for some people, but if you're doing trap hi-hats, you're probably going to want to have more than that. Otherwise, you're going to have to be making one pattern, then adding in another pattern. So it does have its limitations. It only sends 4 different MIDI notes also, so you can only use 4 drum hits at a time with one. Not sure why they limited it to that extent. Maybe it's because of screen space here. It does have a swing knob though, which is probably one of the best things about this, except for the fact that there are free step sequencers already that do this. I feel like one of the main appeals of this one, well, there's a few main appeals. One is that it looks like the FL Studio sequencer. That's probably the one that's catching a lot of people's attention. Another advantage of this one is you can change the amount of steps it loops at, but I think other sequencers probably do that too. You can also change the speed at which each note plays at, so that's pretty useful. You can change which MIDI note it's assigned to as well. You can shift over like that. One cool thing though is you can change the probability of the randomization. So if you know how many notes you want in it for some reason, I don't know who thinks like that, but I guess it's useful when you're randomizing. If you know you want 5 notes in it, hit random and it'll do a different 5-note pattern. And that could be pretty useful, especially if you have like a certain pattern already and you want to switch it up a bit and you want to keep the same amount of notes, right? But having the different loop lengths as well as the speeds makes it pretty easy to create polyrhythms without it being too complex of a UI, because I've looked at quite a few polyrhythm sequencers, and at least for Ableton, and they all have like horrible UIs in my opinion. I'm sure there's probably a few that don't, but they're pretty hard to find because there's so many different ones, right? One other really big issue I had with this step sequencer, you ready for this, guys? Brace yourself. You can't edit the velocity in it. Yeah, velocity's stuck at whatever you had it set to. I guess the only way you could really mess with it would be if you had like, I don't know, like an LFO or something that adjusted the volume here. That'd be pretty similar. But yeah, you cannot mess with the velocity here, which is kind of a big issue in my opinion. That and the length of the steps is like the real problem I have with this at the moment. I think if they added that, this would actually be a really good step sequencer. At the moment, it's decent. It could definitely be a lot better though. Is it worth $18? I don't know. There's free step sequencers you could use instead. I really think this one's catching people's eyes though, because it looks like the FL Studio one. So I think that would explain that. I will say this too, I did run into one bug. This is not Plugin Police, by the way, guys. This is Plugin Police's less experienced, less researched cousin. So for some reason, these are swapped around. The loop length on the first one and the second one. Second hit here is the snare. When I change the loop length of the first one, it's supposed to be editing it on the first one, but it's doing it on the second one. See, the snare's gonna repeat now. See, for some reason the snare is looping, even though it should be doing it to the kick at the moment. And then when I do it to the one that's supposed to be the snare, it does it to the kick. Not sure what that's about, probably a programming error. This thing is okay though. Honestly, I would ask for my money back if, you know, I don't know. I got kind of hyped up. Thinking maybe this might be something that helps Ableton kill FL. But FL still got a lot of their good things for it, even if they did make this step sequencer to the highest capacity. I'll just talk about some of the things I know that FL does better. One, the piano roll, obviously. The ability to just draw in chords really easily. It makes it super fast to draw on a nice composition. While Ableton does have the scales feature, it doesn't have the chord feature. Now, if they add that though, they add in a good step sequencer, and they add in the ability to just draw in chords like that, I think it'll be a wrap then. Until then though, they each have their own strengths. Ableton's piano roll obviously has MPE control, which is really nice. A lot of other things really nice about it, including like the optimization of the UI design. I think that's one thing I really like about Ableton. It doesn't feel as cluttered, at least in my opinion. I just feel like there's a lot of windows. Some of them don't really need to even exist in the first place. It's kind of, you know, it's a mess. But yeah, if Ableton gets the chord thing figured out, there's clearly room on the screen here. They're probably working on that right now, if I had to guess. I mean, I'm sure there's some other features too, but those are the main ones I could think of that make FL have its own thing at the moment. What do you guys think? Is this the FL killer? Of course not. Of course it's not. I even know in the title I'm gonna imply that it's not. Remember, guys, if I say something in quotations, that means I'm responding to the argument. Some people are fucking dumb, and when they see something in quotations, they don't understand that it doesn't mean the same thing as it not being in quotations. But I figured I'd explain that really quickly. Some people are like, "Ooh, this is gonna kill FL, man. FL's done for." It's not done for. In fact, I might start learning FL on the side as well too. I like them both. Everyone who likes this video, I will bash you in the head while you're asleep. Hopefully making you unconscious, maybe even killing you. Made it to the end of the video, comment down below. Make sure to check out my second channel if you haven't. We're uploading a pretty funny video later today. Patreon, channel member, Twitch subscription if you want to support the channel. I'll see you guys next time.
Bang Incorporated.